Trump's massive, so-called big, beautiful bill just passed the Senate. Some are calling it a historic win for working Americans. Others say it's a financial time bomb that'll haunt the country for years. So what's actually inside this 900-page monster of a bill? Is it good news for your wallet or a disaster hiding in plain sight? Well, depending on who you are, this could be the best news you've heard all year or the worst. If you're a senior, a tipped worker, a parent, or someone on Medicaid, what's buried in this bill will absolutely impact your money. And trust me, some parts are going to surprise you. Let's start with what sounds like good news, because for millions of working Americans, this bill offers some serious tax breaks. If you work in the service industry, restaurant, salon, hotel, you've probably struggled with how tips get taxed. Well, under this bill, you can now deduct up to $25,000 in tip income from your taxable income. That's not a typo. 25 grand. For people juggling double shifts just to make ends meet, this is a real win. But of course there's a catch. If you make over $150,000 as a single filer, or $300,000 as a couple, this benefit starts to disappear. And it doesn't stop there. Overtime workers finally get some love. If you've been grinding those extra hours, you can now write off a portion of your overtime pay. Again, it phases out for higher earners, but for regular folks, it's a meaningful change, especially when inflation keeps stretching every paycheck thinner. And seniors, you're not left out. The standard deduction for anyone 65 or older jumps by $6,000 up from the $4,000 the House originally suggested. If you're living on Social Security or retirement income, that extra deduction can be a game changer. Now here's something nobody saw coming: the Trump account. If you have a child born between 2024 and 2028, the government will automatically open an investment account for them with a $1,000 deposit. No paperwork, no application. The money gets seeded into an index fund designed to grow over time. It's not cash you can spend today, but it's a head start, especially for families who've never been able to open a college savings account or invest before. And there's even more. If you've recently financed a car, specifically one assembled in the US, this bill lets you deduct up to $10,000 in interest from your taxes. But here's the kicker: it doesn't apply to every loan. Only specific vehicles and lenders qualify. So, when tax season rolls around, it's probably worth double-checking your paperwork. For every tax cut this bill offers, it claws money back somewhere else. And the biggest targets: Medicaid and SNAP. If you rely on Medicaid, listen closely. The bill introduces a new federal work requirement for adults aged 19 to 64. Unless you have a documented disability, you'll now need to prove you work, volunteer, or are in job training for at least 80 hours every month. Even parents aren't spared. The old exemption for parents is gone unless your child is under 14. And that's not the worst part. Eligibility checks now happen every 6 months instead of once a year. Miss a deadline, misplace a form, or make an error and you risk losing your coverage. The Congressional Budget Office estimates that by 2034, nearly 8 million people will lose Medicaid because of these changes. That's not just a statistic. That's real people, real families losing healthcare. Food assistance isn't safe either. The bill imposes new work requirements for SNAP recipients, just like Medicaid. And there's an extra penalty for states. If a state screws up its SNAP distribution, has a high error rate, they now have to pay part of the cost themselves. Poorer states, they'll get hit the hardest. And for around 600,000 low-income families, monthly food assistance drops by roughly $100. It's the same story over and over. The bill gives with one hand and takes with the other. If you are planning to go green, buying an electric vehicle, installing solar panels, upgrading to a heat pump, bad news. The bill kills nearly every clean energy tax credit that passed under the Biden administration. EV rebates, gone. Solar credits, gone. Heat pump incentives, gone. Instead, the bill shifts support back to fossil fuels. Coal, oil, and gas producers get new tax breaks. Excise taxes on fossil fuels removed. If you work in fossil fuels, this might feel like a comeback story. But for clean energy companies and consumers trying to go green, it's a hard stop. This is the part where things get weird. Tucked into this bill is $10 billion for Mars mission planning. Yeah, space. Plus $325 million to help safely deorbit the International Space Station. Oh, and get this, $85 million is being spent to move a space shuttle from Virginia to Texas. The internet, of course, exploded with jokes. But this isn't just a weird line item, it's part of a broader boost to the defense budget. And speaking of defense, the border gets one of the biggest funding boosts in the entire bill. $46.5 billion to expand the border wall and surveillance tech. $45 billion to build and operate new detention centers. $30 billion to recruit and train thousands of new ICE agents. And for asylum seekers, there's now $100 application fee. No matter where you stand on immigration, these are massive numbers and they send a pretty clear message about the administration's priorities. Let's talk numbers, the part no one wants to hear but everyone needs to know. The Congressional Budget Office estimates this bill will add $3.3 trillion to the national deficit over the next decade. But some independent estimates say, once you factor in interest and extended provisions, it's closer to $5.3 trillion. So where does the money go? Households making over $217,000 a year get an average tax cut of $12,500. Meanwhile, households making under $35,000 will get, wait for it, about $150. That's the math. A massive wealth transfer no matter how it's packaged. If you're a senior, check whether you qualify for that $6,000 deduction. If you work in the service industry, start tracking your tips more carefully. If you're on Medicaid or SNAP, brace yourself. Check your state's requirements now before changes hit. And if you were counting on clean energy rebates for an EV or home upgrade, you might want to hold off and see how the House votes, because that's the last step. This bill passed the Senate, but it still needs House approval. If the House agrees without changes, it heads straight to Trump's desk, potentially signed before the 4th of July. But if lawmakers tweak it, the Senate has to reconvene. That could delay everything. One thing's for sure, this bill is going to impact millions of Americans in ways most people aren't prepared for. Some will save money, others could lose vital support. So if this affects you or someone you know, share this video. Talk about it, because staying informed isn't just smart, it's survival right now. And hey, drop a comment. Are you benefiting from this bill or getting burned by it? Let's talk it out below. Thanks for watching. Stay smart, stay prepared. See you in the next one.